Welcome back from the ad break, and let's continue with our lesson, where now we are going to be focusing on those application questions. So let's apply more of those exponent laws. The first one here says, answer the following questions without the use of a calculator. So we are going to simplify these questions without the use of a calculator. Now, we have been given here 3 squared multiplied by 3 exponent 6, and this is all divided by 3 exponent 5. Now, we are multiplying and we are dividing. So we need to remember our exponent laws. Let's start with the numerator. So what do we do when we are multiplying bases that are the same, or powers that have the same base? So when we are multiplying powers that have the same base, we are going to keep that base and add those exponents. So that means we are going to add the exponent 2 and the exponent 6. Of course, this is still divided by 3 exponent 5. Now, with the numerator, we have 3 exponent 8, and of course that 8 comes from 2 plus 6. And then we have our 3 exponent 5. So we've already applied the multiplication part of our expression. Now we need to look at the division part of our explanation, or of our expression. So now, what do we do when we are dividing 2 powers that have the same base? Yes, we are going to subtract the exponents. So this is going to be now 3, and we have our 8 minus our 5. What is our final answer? 3 cubed. And that is our final answer. Let's look at the next one. Now the next one, we have 3 powers that we are multiplying there. What do we do when we are multiplying powers that have the same base? We add the exponents. Now, of course, that first power there, which is just the 5, we know the exponent there is a 1. So we are going to keep the base since all the bases are the same. Then we are going to say 1 plus 12 plus 7. Now, why are we adding the exponents? We are adding the exponents because we are multiplying powers that have the same base. So our answer is going to be 5 as a base, and as an exponent we are going to say 1 plus 12, which is 13, plus 7 will give us an exponent of 20. Let's move on to the next question. Now the next question has a negative 12 cubed, and this is all raised to an exponent of 2. And then all of this is going to be divided by a negative 12 raised to an exponent of 4. So let's start with the denominator there. We know that that negative 12 has an exponent of 1. Then we are going to look at our numerator, because we can see that we have a power that has been raised to an exponent. So this is going to be that negative 12, and this is going to be that 3 multiplied by that 2, because remember, when a power is raised to an exponent, then those exponents will multiply together, and this is divided by a negative 12, and that will be the 1 multiplied by 4. Same rule that we applied in the numerator. Now this is going to give us a negative 12, and in the numerator 3 times 2 is 6, and in the denominator negative 12, and 1 times 4 is of course a 4. Now because the base is the same and we are dividing these powers, then we are going to go right ahead and subtract these powers. So that's going to be, a 6 minus a 4, and of course the answer is going to be a negative 12 and an exponent of 2. So the answer is going to be a negative 12 squared. The next one here, we are dividing, but before we can divide, we can see that we have powers that are a power that has been raised to an exponent. So let's work with that first. So this power has been raised to an exponent, which means that the 2 exponents are going to multiply together. Then we are dividing this by 7 raised to an exponent of 12. Now 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. So this is going to be 7 exponent 12 divided by 7 exponent 12. Now we are dividing two powers that are exactly the same. And do you remember what the qualities or the properties of 1 say about if a number is divided by itself? Yes, it will be equals to 1. So because we have 7 exponent 12 divided by 7 exponent 12, then this is equals to 1. The next one there gives us 3 powers, but the first 2 powers are being divided and the next power is being multiplied. So let's just remember our exponent laws, and we must not confuse them. When we are dividing powers of the same base, we are going to subtract the exponents, and when we are multiplying powers of the same base, we are going to add the exponents. So let's start with dividing the powers of the same base. So we are going to now say there that P, and because we are dividing powers of the same base, it will be a 5 minus a 4. And we are still multiplying this with the P squared. Now 5 minus 4 is 1. And we are still multiplying this with the P squared. Now what happens when we are multiplying powers that have the same base? Yes, we are going to add those exponents. So our final answer is going to be P cubed, because 1 plus 2 is equals to a 3. So our answer there is going to be P cubed. Let's look at this next one here. So we have here a multiplied by b raised to the exponent of 14, and then this is divided by a multiplied by b squared multiplied by b multiplied by a raised to the exponent of 7. Now, how can we simplify this? Now, let's look if they have the same base, because if they have the same base, then that means that we can apply the exponent laws to this expression. Yes, they do have the same base. Now, you might be wondering about that b multiplied by a there. But yes, it does have the same base as the other powers as well. Remember, multiplication is commutative, which means that a multiplied by b is the same as b multiplied by a. So if we need to rewrite this to avoid that confusion, then we can. So we can just say there that a multiplied by b exponent 14 divided by a multiplied by b squared multiplied by a multiplied by b exponent 7. So I am just going to swap the a and the b around because they still maintain the same value. Now when we look at the numerator, there's not much that we can do there for now. We can just leave that for later. But when we're looking at the denominator, the base is the same. And when the base is the same, then we are going to add the exponents. Remember, if we are multiplying powers of the same base, then we are going to add the exponents. So that is going to be a multiplied by b, and that is going to be our 2 plus 7, which of course is going to give us a 9. Then we are going to say there a multiplied by b, and of course that is the 14. This is divided by the a multiplied by b, and that is going to give us the 9. And where does the 9 come from? It comes from the 2 plus 7. Then what do we see further? We have the same base, and our base in this case is the a multiplied by b. So that is going to be there the a multiplied by b, and that is going to be there now the 14 minus the 9. And what is our final answer going to be? Or not our final answer as yet, because we can continue with this expression. That's going to be a multiplied by b. And what is 14 minus 9. If you are thinking of 5, then you are absolutely correct. And because we have a product that is raised to an exponent, we know that that A has an exponent 1 and that B has an exponent 1. What is our final answer going to be? Yes, it's going to be A exponent 5 multiplied by B exponent 5. And that is going to be our final answer. Let's look at the last two questions. So we have here 3 exponent 6 multiplied by 3, and this product is raised to an exponent 1, and this is divided by 3 squared. Now, do we remember what we said about powers or bases that are raised to the exponent 1? Then it means that they remain that way. So we have a 3 exponent 6 multiplied by a 3, and of course we know that that 3 has an exponent 1. Then we have that divided by a 3 squared. Now, because the bases are the same there by the numerator, we are going to add the exponents. That is going to give us as a numerator 3 exponent 7 divided by 3 squared, and that is going to give us a 7 minus 2. Why are we subtracting? Because the base is the same of these powers and we are dividing these powers. So that's going to give us a 3 exponent 5. And our last expression there, we are going to simplify it. And how are we going to simplify it? We are going to first work out that power that has been raised to an exponent. So that is going to be our 7. And we know we are going to multiply these two exponents. So what does that give us? That is 7. And 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. This is divided by 7 exponent 4. And because we are dividing powers that have the same base, we are going to subtract the exponents. And our final answer is going to be 7 squared. Let's quickly go to an ad break and then we'll see you just now.